Trump is photographed on the south lawn of the White House on May 16. By Jabin Botsford, The Washington Post, Getty Images, news that the FBI used a secret informant to investigate Russian infiltration of the Trump campaign has touched a raw nerve in the White House, where President Donald Trump was already wary of a deep state plot against him. As my colleague Gabriel Sherman reports, Trump has latched onto the conspiracy that the Obama administration may have entrapped his advisors and planted evidence linking them to Russia, and may even have additional agents working inside the administration. Is a paranoia about who else is one Trump official said. Gripped by Nixonian fears, Trump on Sunday demanded that the Justice Department investigate itself to uncover whether the FBI infiltrated or surveilled the Trump campaign for political purposes, and if any such demands or requests were made by people within the Obama administration. The president's order, issued over Twitter and made manifest the following day during a tense meeting with top DOJ officials, may have temporarily allayed Trump's fury over Robert Mueller's Russia probe. But according to veteran members of the D.C. bar, it may also have compounded his nettlesome legal problems. I think that the president is acting like somebody who has something to hide. Saul Weisenberg, a deputy special prosecutor during the Starr investigation, told me. It seems to me the attacks, particularly by the president himself, have just grown exponentially in vitriol. They've kind of become maniacal, in a way. I think he's worried about something. Typically, when you engage in conduct like that, you've got something to hide. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein ably diffused the tensions with the White House by promising to fold the president's inquiry into another, already ongoing internal probe. Still, the clash between President and Justice Department was a remarkable breach of historical precedent. There is a reason why there has been a strict independence of the Justice Department when it comes to sensitive investigations. Neil Katyal, who drafted the Justice Department's 1999 Special Counsel regulations, told me, "It is to avoid precisely the appearance, if not the reality, of government cover-ups." Trump's actions, he added, are exhibit A for why we needed a special counsel in the first place. That someone who behaves with this callous disregard for the rule of law when it comes to an investigation is exactly the reason why you need an independent investigation of him. For months, Trump's attorneys managed to prevent the president from interfering in the Russia investigation, arguing that a conciliatory approach would provide the fastest route to his exoneration. As Mueller's probe approached the one-year mark, however, the president grew restless, shaking up his legal team by replacing John Dowd with loose cannon attorney Rudy Giuliani. Trump has since adopted a more aggressive, freewheeling media strategy, with Giuliani playing offense, rather than defense, in the press. I think he's always maintaining his flexibility to at some point actually take action, to impede the investigation or shut it down altogether, said Bob Bauer, who served as White House General Counsel under Barack Obama. Trump's lawyers, he noted, seem very fond of the constitutional theory that the president can't obstruct justice, and that he can do what he wants to the Department of Justice. It's a brazen legal strategy, with Trump and Giuliani betting big on their ability to get any potential charges tossed out on procedural or constitutional grounds. Giuliani has argued, for instance, that Trump is not legally required to accede to a subpoena to testify before Mueller, and that he would be well within his rights to order Rosenstein to shutter the investigation. I believe a president is open, and so this president is open, to a charge of obstruction. I don't believe he has constitutional immunity, said Bauer. It's particularly unhelpful to someone who's under investigation for that kind of activity, to be, yet again, finding a way to disrupt the normal processes of the law enforcement community. The most pressing question is what happens if the DOJ's internal probe turns up no wrongdoing, and Trump decides to take more aggressive action, such as ordering Rosenstein to fire Mueller. If Trump does go toe-to-toe with Rosenstein, he could provoke the kind of constitutional crisis that occurred under President Richard Nixon, when a series of Justice Department officials resigned rather than carry out Nixon's order to fire the special prosecutor investigating Watergate. At the same time, legal experts note, Nixon's attempts to end the Watergate affair ultimately backfired, bolstering the impeachment proceedings that forced him to resign. Trump has threatened to attack Mueller, or terminate him, or the Deputy Attorney General that appointed him, said Andrew Hall, who represented former Nixon advisor John Ehrlichman during the Watergate scandal. Well, that is exactly the move that Nixon made when he fired Archibald Cox, and you achieve nothing. Quite the opposite. Giuliani's fact-free media tour, meanwhile, is not improving the president's position. Lawyers are officers of the court. It always concerns me when I see a lawyer, the lawyer representing the president, going out and repeatedly making false statements about the case. Weisenberg said, if it comes down to a credibility contest, critics say, Giuliani will lose to Mueller, at least outside the pro-Trump bastion of Fox News. Rudy Giuliani is the worst possible choice if their aim is to persuade persuadable people. Lanny Davis, who served as special counsel to President Bill Clinton, told me. Rudy Giuliani, the most partisan, semi-mentally unhinged person, is the wrong person to put out as a political strategy. You want a reasonable, moderate voice to defend President Trump as not committing an impeachable offense, and that is not going to come from Rudy Giuliani. Davis argues that Mueller, who has not spoken publicly since he was named special counsel, won't take any bait that Trump and Giuliani throw out. He doesn't care what Donald Trump or Rudy Giuliani say, he told me. He's going to follow the facts. Man, facts, they're stubborn things. You can't delete them. You can't ignore them. You can put context around them. You can explain them, but the facts are going to decide.